Welcome to the Hollywood Scholar. I'm Jed Morgan, and to say that D23 was underwhelming is a massive understatement. Rumors abounded surrounding D23 about specifically the casting of the Fantastic Four and many other announcements like that, but instead what we got was a few posters and a couple trailers and some announcements that were previously known. This is very surprising considering a lot of the stuff that wasn't announced at Comic-Con earlier, San Diego Comic-Con, was supposedly going to be announced here at D23. None of it really was. It was just extremely disappointing, and it's just still Disney. Nobody cares. If you see some of the behind-the-scenes photos of the panels and stuff like that, how big the audience is extremely small, and that's just another sign of how Disney just is falling apart at the seams because of how much they've gone woke, how much they've destroyed all their beloved properties, and it's interesting to see. Hopefully it's enough that people will start paying attention from the broad spectrum. And it was just such an underwhelming deal that I wasn't initially going to talk about it if it weren't for a single interview that I will talk about in a moment here. But overall, most of the Marvel stuff was some posters that we already knew about. Werewolf by Night, that kind of looked like an interesting trailer. I mean, they've had interesting trailers in the past, so I don't really have much of an opinion on that. My main question would be, it is Marvel, but is it MCU? It did fascinate me, though. I wasn't aware that they were going to do a project like that. The Secret Invasion one seemed all fancy, but when you, it's connected to Captain Marvel too much for it to be any good, because the plot of Captain Marvel was broken, so I don't know if you can glean together a cohesive plot in succession to that. And the trailer looked fine. I don't have anything wrong with the trailer. And then this, there were a few surprise casting, but this is just such a bad Photoshop that they announced this lineup for the Thunderbolts with. I don't know what that was about, but there were a few surprises. We knew Yelena and Walker were going to be on it, but some of these others I wasn't expecting. And it was really extremely underwhelming from the Marvel side. The Star Wars side wasn't much better. A couple teaser trailers, nothing that I really care about whatsoever. The only thing that I would care about is the Ahsoka show, mainly because I don't want her to be destroyed, because I love the character of Ahsoka. She's my favorite Star Wars character, and her story really should have ended at season 7 of Clone Wars, if not season 2 of Rebels at the absolute latest. She needed to be dead by the time of New Hope. So I just don't really want to see her destroyed. But going forward, there were a few other deals. There was a National Treasure trailer. I love the new 2 National Treasure movies. I grew up watching those. I love those movies. And I didn't realize that this show was going to be taking place in the same universe, because this character that we see here, he's the FBI agent from the previous movie. So it is actually connected. That did surprise me. But it seemed very generic and Disney-ified, very kid-oriented, and not like the mature, almost Da Vinci Code-like style of the original National Treasure movie. So it just doesn't feel like National Treasure to me, and that's my biggest problem with it. Is CW, I think, is a better term for it. It feels CW-ified with such a young cast, a big cast, ensemble cast, and that's kind of the problem with the Willow trailer, which I just briefly want to mention. There's just too many characters, if nothing else. Too many characters distracting from Willow. But yeah, some of the same problems there. Don't really care about it. And the Percy Jackson trailer is out, and it looks fine. I don't like the books. I do not like the books whatsoever. I don't like what they did in Greek mythology and a lot of those characters. It really bothers me. The only reason I've ever done any videos on the show is because of the vitriolic hate that was labeled at my friend Blabbering Collector, another member of Geeks and Gamers. But this trailer sounds fine. I do like the casting of Percy Jackson. I mean, book accuracy wise. I probably won't check out the show because I really don't care, but the trailer seemed fine enough. Now, one of the most interesting things to come out of D23 is actually the trailer for The Little Mermaid. Now, I don't really care about this movie. I didn't like the original, or I didn't watch the original per se all that much, so I don't have any attachment to the story. The bigger deal is it just comes across as lazy. I hate these live action remakes. The only live action remakes that they should be making is of their underperforming movies that had good concepts, like Atlantis. And I heard rumors about that. I didn't see any actual official confirmation that Andrew Garfield was going to be leading an Atlantis movie. If so, that's the only one of these that I'm actually remotely interested in. But Little Mermaid, it's just cheap cash grab. And I think it's honestly offensive to race swap a character like this for a remake that is just so lazy. It comes across as Disney saying, we don't trust diverse characters to mainline their own movies, so let's give them the scraps. Let's give them the scraps, something that we know will make a bunch of money because of name recognition alone. And it comes across as just giving a black woman the scraps of the Disney universe, and it just feels very pathetic to me. And apparently people are responding, and that's been one of the most beautiful things. It looks like the Lord of the Rings situation has really made a change in a lot of the broader fandoms, and they're fighting back, and that's incredible to see because this trailer is ratioed to hell and back. But the comments are just as over the top and hilarious as they were for the Rings of Power trailers, because yeah, I love all these. Like, I love when Ariel looked at Jack and said, "Draw me like one of your French girls." I love that they're resorting to that, mocking them because they're not taking the source material seriously. So why should we take their version of it seriously? And it's just really funny to see, and that is a hell of a ratio. That is a hell of a ratio. And I'm here for it. I don't care enough about this project to see it, whether or not it's good. I just really don't like these Disney remakes. They feel so very lazy to me. And there are a few other announced that I don't care, like the Mufasa prequel, the Peter Pan movie. I really don't care about those whatsoever. And apparently, in a little bit of news, the big news from the Marvels is Goose will be returning. That's the big exciting news from D23 about a mainline superhero movie that's an ensemble cast, like it's a team up movie. Is a cat is coming back. That is the depths that Disney and Marvel have to sing to for this terrible movie. They can't market it off of anything besides the one thing about Captain Marvel that genuinely people liked is a cat. Wow, that is just pathetic. And speaking of Captain Marvel herself, we have an interview from D23 where Brie Larson talks about her future in the role of Captain Marvel, and it is just pure gold. And I just love that she resorted to this. She's starting to feel why people dislike her. There are so many great compilations on YouTube of terrible interviews with her, terrible things she said, terrible body language with her co-stars. That's actually how I found Geeks and Gamers originally, was a compilation of the terrible Brie Larson interviews. But I think she's finally started to realize that nobody gives a shit about her in the role of Captain Marvel because she's just a very unlikable person. And normally I wouldn't say that about actors and actresses, separate the character from the role. But with her, it's clear she's just not a good person. But we want to listen to this real fast.
How long will you play Captain Marvel for?
I don't know. Does anyone want me to do it again?
Don't be so modest.
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't have the answer to that.
I love that. She is just saying what everyone's thinking, and it's a rhetorical question because she knows we're all going to say, hell no, we don't give a shit. You are a bland plank, as Mahler calls her. She is just so terrible. I don't care about, I really don't care about seeing much of the MCU's future after how much damage they've done in Phase 4, but I really don't care about seeing her. And a lot of these faces she makes, the body language, it seems like she's upset about this realization that she's made that nobody likes her. And it's just a very interesting thing to see coming from her. Is it's basically admitting defeat from her perspective, and that's something that we never thought we'd see from her because she's always the gung-ho, you're just sexist, I'm the bestest ever, you all are badsies, I'm goodsies, meanies, you're all meanies. But now she's just like, am I the baddie? And it's just really funny to see, but she still, even despite that realization, she still is pissed off about it, at least from her body language. That might be wrong, she might be tired from doing all these interviews, but it just seems like she is very upset that she's made this realization about herself. Overall, that is all the interesting news to come out of D23. None of it else matters. There's some posters. There's just lots of posters, especially from the animation side of things, and I do not care whatsoever. Overall, it's very disappointing, very underwhelming D23, and that's even compounded upon my general disinterest in Disney going forward. But even if I were interested, there's just so little to pick apart from D23. It feels near worthless that they had this convention whatsoever, especially considering how many people actually showed up to see Disney do virtually nothing. But anyway, that's all I have for today. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Anon. If you like what I do here and want to see good, compelling stories that Hollywood will no longer give you, check out my book series, Odyssey of a Phoenix, a mythological epic about philosophy, morality, and modern-day mental illness issues. Books 1, Down in Flames, and Book 2, Apocalypse Then, currently on sale. Book 3, Kill the Dark, coming soon.